You know, in my mind, I know God could have used anybody, but he chose to use me. But I got to be instrumental in just preparing things and getting things ready. So my first day was amazing. I got to hang out with Joe Mercer. I got to room with him, and he got to pour into me, and I got to learn more about the Lord. And I got to work on the boats, and I got to work on different things, and it worked. It didn't break. You know, it did not work. We fixed so many different things, and it was just amazing to watch the different things become fixed whenever, you know, it was outside of my ability.
When I worked in the soup kitchen, it was really exciting. The kids were so sweet. Seeing what living conditions they lived in was really sad. It made me feel sorry for them because their houses were like in such bad condition. I've had a calling on my life for a long time to go, so they told me that I wasn't going to be able to go till I was 14, and my grandpa talked to Joe Mercer about it, and he said that he was very excited that I wanted to go, so that made me very happy. So I got to go, and it was very fun.
We were fought a whole lot to come, you know. I mean, it took a lot to get there, and then to see the Lord use my wife the ways that he did was just amazing. I went on this same mission trip last year, just felt really impressed to go and fell in love with the kids and the group of people that we go with down there, and had to go back.
At first I didn't want to go, but I prayed about it and God told me that I was supposed to go on this missions trip. It's definitely something good to try, even if you thought you would never want to do it. My favorite part of the missions trip was a guy named Giancarlos. We became great friends.
I decided to go on the missions trip as a graduation present. It's something that I've always wanted to do, and the opportunity came up, so I took it. I was really scared about what I was getting myself into when I first got there, but then it was just like things kept coming together how they were supposed to, and so my emotions kicked in, and I was like, God's really moving and pouring out in these people, so it was a really unique experience. I feel like I made a difference in people's lives, even though they didn't necessarily understand what I was saying or what I was praying over them, but they still knew that someone cared for them and someone was praying for them and someone loved them.
I don't know. It was just amazing to experience God the way you get to experience it, like raw. Like, I don't know. It was amazing. We got a report when the last day we were there, and they said people took a boat ride up the Amazon River over 20 hours on a little tiny skinny boat just to come see us.
The other day, when they started talking about going on this mission trip, they had said, well, you had to have your $100 in by that Sunday. Well, last August, my husband had a massive stroke, so this year has been really super hard. So going on a missions trip was an impossibility. But I kind of told the Lord, you know, if I don't go now, at the age of 54, I might never get to go on a missions trip. So some co-workers of mine had given me $100 for my birthday, and that they had to have the $100 deposit in by that Sunday. So I told the Lord, I said, well, I've got the $100. All I need is about 16 more people to give me $100 so I can go on this mission trip. I was kind of halfway joking. And so we left church. I went to put my husband in the car, and someone ran out of the church and said, I know you're going to think I'm crazy, but the Lord told me to give you this Sunday. So they handed me money in my hand, and I told him, I said, you know, I'm not going to be rude, but I got to know something. And it was $100. So my faith was built for the trip. But I still wasn't sure that I could leave my husband and go on a missions trip. So I told the Lord that I would have to have the money in by the 3rd week of June in order for me to know that it was okay to leave him. The money and above the amount of money that I needed came in by the 2nd week of June. And so I got to go on the missions trip.
The main goal of this mission trip, as with all the ones I've been on, was to reach people for Jesus Christ, to win people to Jesus. The most exciting thing, there were healings that were evident. This one man was brought after service. His son brought him. His son must have been about 30. The old man was younger than me, about 50 or so. But he hadn't moved his right arm in several years. So we prayed for him, and he still didn't move his right arm. But that night, he came back and called me aside during the service. He didn't even want to wait till the end. He took me outside the tent. He wanted to get saved because now he was moving his arm.
There is nothing better that you can seed into. There's nothing to be afraid of. We have people that will help you. We'd never leave you alone. On this particular mission trip, my husband and I are always going. There's always a translator. There's plenty to do. You may think, well, I don't know how to do anything. Do you know how to hug a child? Do you know how to love on somebody and let them, you know, we're the big draw because we're like the show in town. They have nothing else. If you've ever been to their slums, it looks like surely nobody lives here. There's trash, there's dilapidated housing, but the kids come in droves, and parents come out, people come out of their houses to see. And so they, if nothing else, they're going to hear that gospel preached, because our preachers preach in English, but we translate it into Spanish so everybody hears. So if you want to go, please go. It's life-changing, especially for the youth. There's nothing that you can say, well, I'm going to go and I'm not going to be of any help. Yes, you'll be of help.